Okay, now we're back with another step. We're doing the blush tone now, just kind of going throughout like her little folds of fat and over the peeled parts again. We're using the blush tone and the part A. I will do it again on the screen there. 50-50 is the mix. And I just had a little bit out. I'm trying to use, smaller and smaller amounts because a lot's getting wasted. But I did flush up her cheeks. I used the sponge for that. I flushed them up a little bit more in her forehead. So that's pretty much done. Her nose and her little chin. But what I want to do is show you, I'm just going to take this little detail brush. We're going to draw in enough for you to see. I'm going to go into this area on her and just, get that kind of freshened up again too, because it was kind of lightening up. So her folds and all that, we're using the blush tone. And then we're going to also go over, like I said, the areas. And I'm just going to bring it down like this because we're going to make the chin a little bit more flushy. So just bring it down like that, but keep the darker in that little chunky fold there that she has. And then I can just use the little sponge just to kind of clean that up a little bit like that, but keeping the color in there. And I want to show you, I'm also doing her eye, just going down under the eye just to put more emphasis, emphasize more on the part right here of her eye, just a little bit under that little wrinkle under there. We won't go as far down. You want them to look, her to look human, so they wouldn't be identical on both sides. So I'm just going like this, and I'm just going to go like this and just kind of smooth it down as I'm doing that, just kind of take the brush and go back and forth like that, giving her that beautiful different, coloration in there. And then I'm just going to use the sponge just to kind of clean that up a little bit. And then I want to go one more time in there, just in the small little area there, and, get a little bit more depth and coloration just right in that little fold there. That's what I like. The other side went a little bit farther down, if you see, but it just gives more color and definition to her. That's what I love. And then once you go over with your skin tones and those flesh tones, it's going to look really great when you go over that. It'll help, help to bring it down if it's too dark, but it's not. It's really great. And then we're going to go, I'll show you right here. We'll just go over this one spot here. We're just going to go like this again, like we did with the other tone, the lip color one. Just go right over. That is one of her spots that were chipped. And then I'm actually going to get some more with the sponge and go over it. And as you see, as I'm doing it, it is definitely getting rid of, the spots that were chipped. It's making it much more, much less prominent, and just giving her the different colorations, which is great, because everybody could have little spots like that are a little bit lighter, so that's okay. But it definitely is covering and doing exactly what I want. I need to put a little bit more out here so I can just show you guys a little bit more of in the fold. So I'm doing it, but I'm just going to put the tiniest little amount out because we don't need a lot. In fact, I want to suck some of this back into here because I don't need that much. I don't want to be wasting these paints because they're expensive. And that's one thing I have learned a lot with this is you don't need a lot. I mean, a lot of paint. A little tiny bit goes a long, long, long ways. All right, so we're going to just mix this real quick. 50-50 mix. And like I said, I don't need a whole ton. So we just got a little bit out. And now I'm just going to, again, just go. Now we're going to go like into her little folds in her arm. So just go like this. And don't worry, when you first put on, you're going to go, oh my God, that's too much. Nope. Just go through and keep rubbing your brush like this just so it fades it down. That's what you want. But you do want that to be more prominent than the rest of her coloration, is you want the folds to stand out like that. Her little beautiful folds of fat. You want to just give more definition to that. Like, again, I told you I'm really into, when I'm doing a baby, I like the definition to things. I like a lot of, gosh, I lost the train of thought here. Just a lot of character to the baby. So I like to do a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for, honey? I can't think of it. When I do a lot of, art and stuff, to them, not just the color, but I'm adding more character to it. What is that word again? When I'm going into the folds of fat and stuff like that and doing, where I did the belly button, where I gave him the umbilical cord. What is that called that a person's doing? Adding more character or something? I can't think of it, you guys. I just go more into depth with the babies. I just want them to look so realistic. And gosh, I can't stand that. I can't think of the word. You guys know, you're all sitting there right now yelling it on the screen to me. Saying that's what it is. Detail. There we go. I'm more in detail when I do things. I like to add the detail because that's what gives this baby, these babies more life and, showing that it has these, different colorations and stuff like that to make it more real instead of just a fake baby that'd be all one color. You wouldn't want to do that. So, and then you could just go over them again just to kind of blend, the color or whatever, but keeping it darker, like I said, than the actual color of the baby. You want it darker, but you see the difference. Since I did it now, you can see the difference, like where it's over there. It just really adds character to the baby and, makes it like, wow, okay, now she looks even more real, having, those folds filled in with more of the coloration and, less coloration on the arms and stuff, just to emphasize on her beautiful little folds and everything, her little fat rolls, which I love so much. So, all right, that's basically what I wanted to show you there. And then I'm just going to grab a little bit more here and go over the hand a little bit more in this area just to blush it up a little more over her hand and all of that. And then I'm going to use the brush one more time to go over this area here. And I kind of want to just try to smooth this down without patting it with the sponge, because I really, I'm trying to cover up these cover-ups. In some spots, you had to do more of the brush than the sponge. And just, you want to just keep going, back and forth then when you're doing it, just so that it doesn't leave such like a prominent line or a prominent spot that you're doing or whatever. You're really just trying to color it in. So, but yeah, I'm just going to keep going on this baby and do this layer here and in her folds and all that and get that done. And then we will dry her up again for 2 hours in the Tupperware. And then I'll be back in with the next layer. All right, everyone, we're on to the next layering color, which is the one that they call the nail bed. And of course, part A, 50-50 mix right there in the screen. I like that color because it's kind of a peachy color for an all over color for her body, along with her little tips. So I did all of her tips, but this hand, I'm going to show you how I'm doing that as well. And I've got some laid out, and all I have left is this arm. I've done the whole body, the face, everything. So we'll just draw in so you can see the one arm that I do. And we're just using a sponge, and we're just going to sponge this arm here since we've already done all the other, parts of her body on the front here. So we're just going to do this arm. And again, these colors here give her more of that peachy tone, what we're looking for. And just help, bring the color down a little bit now, because she's more of a, more of the skin tone baby since she was, let me get my tweezers, since she was, a full-term baby. So we don't want her to be too red, but I do want those blush tones on her. Hang on, I'm just trying to get this piece off there. So, yeah, I like her more blushy. So we're just using this just to bring the color down now a little bit. And I'm just going to use the little tweezers here to take a little piece I don't like right here off. Okay. All right. So I like this color. Like I said, it worked really great for the back, just for, that beautiful skin tone, along with the skin tone, the natural color that I have that's called flesh tone, I believe it's called. But I just like this as an all over color too. It just really gives her, because it's like the color of her skin. It gives her that peachy color. So, and it looks like, I know you're going to say that, why is that area so light and not taking paint? It is. It's just some areas were even lighter, but it definitely is part of her, is what they did. It wasn't even really chipping there. It was just the coloration of her skin there. So it's like where the blood flow would cut off a little bit. And that's great to have that, to have the different coloration like that on her. She has a little bit over on this one too. Now I'm going to take a little toothpick, and let's see if I can get it where you guys can see this pretty good. Let's draw in a little more. And I'm just going to take a little toothpick and get some of this color here, and we're just going to put it to the tip. A toothpick works really good to do that. See how it just does that nice little line, and then you're not getting too much of this. Now, this color is pretty light. This is the nail bed color. It's pretty light, but what I'm going to do is when it's all done, not when it's all done, when it's all dried up, what I'm going to do is do a second coat because I think that'll give it a little bit more color if it needs it. You know, I'm going to look first to see. I don't like the way that turned out, so just wipe it off and redo it. But yeah, it's just going to be, you know, it might need to be a little bit darker because it goes on, but then it lightens up after a little bit because it really was the nail bed color. So I don't think it was for the tips. I didn't have a tip color, but this works great for a tip color to not have a French look because hers was more of a French look. But if you see that, isn't that pretty? You can, I hope you can see that in there. Let's see if I can get a tiny bit closer for you guys to see. But you see it, it just gives it that nice nail bed look. And then I'm going to set her on this container here so that it doesn't, make sure I didn't wipe that off just now. Yes, I did. I bumped it. So I'm just going to refix that little pinky. And then I'm going to put it across on this stand here. This, not stand, but the little cover there. So that she doesn't touch her own body with it. So it will stay that way. And make sure you kind of put it like that up against her body. Okay, I think that's everything. So I'm just going to go through now and check to see if she has any hairs or anything. And then we're going to go ahead and put her away and go on to the next color, which is going to be the flesh tone color. And I'm going to do, I believe, 2 coats of that flesh tone, or I'm going to do 1 more coat of this one and then the flesh tone. I'm going to see when I put it up to her body. And then if I need it on the tips, I will do the tips 1 more time just to give it a little bit more boldness because it is pretty light. But yeah, other than that, I'll be back with the next step, the next layering. All right, you guys, now we're on to the next color in line, which is going to be the layering color with, again, the part A 50-50 mix. I've done the whole baby except for this arm. So I'm just going to do that arm. And then I'm going to end with the nail bed color. I believe that's going to be the best one to end with instead of the layering color. If not, I'm going to do this and 1 more layering. But I think this is the one I'm going to end it with. So I've got this one left and let it dry for a couple hours and then end it with the layer or the nail bed color because I like that peachy tone. So that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to give her a layer of this. And then I'm going to go over and inspect her again. Make sure she doesn't have any little pieces of hair or fuzz. And then I'm going to put her away again in the container. Put it right up there on the screen. I'll put her away in the container again for 2 hours with a little air vent. And let her dry up for, you know, a couple hours again. Then we'll go on to the next color. But you see that this is really building up and really hiding all the spots. And like I said, I really believe that that was part of the baby's color right there because I went over that with every color known to man. And the only spots, and it didn't even look peeled. If you look at it, there's no peeling there. So it was a color that they actually did there on her. So I really like that. That just means because she's fisting, if you were to fist and keep going like that, you see how the blood flow starts to go off on mine? You see that? How it happens? That's what happens when you're squeezing your hand. So because she's squeezing her hand, that's what's happening. So I think they purposely did that, which is really cool. And she has it on the other side of her hand too in that area. So that was never any peeling there, but you can see where the peeling was, like up there and stuff, it's all gone. You know, that's all gone. It's very camouflaged and you can't even see, you know, where that happened. So yeah, she's getting covered really good. I'm really happy with the results here. So I'm just going to go over her, like I said, again, and I'm not doing long videos here just because I did more on the back. But isn't that beautiful when that happens? But like I just showed you, that's what happens with the hand when you clench it. And that's what she's doing. She's clenching her hand. So, all right. Well, I'm going to put her in the container now for 2 hours, let her dry up, and I'll be back to do the last color, which will be that nail bed, I believe. All right, everyone, we're on the very last layering color, and that is going to be, again, the nail bed color, because I just like it for her coloration. It's so pretty. It's a peachy color, and again, I mixed it with the part A right there on the screen, 50-50 mix, and we're going to do 1 layer of that. I've already done it all over her whole body, and I'm just going to go down this arm for you guys, and then that's it. Then we're going to put her away in the Tupperware. It says right there on the screen for 2 hours to cure. And then I'm going to take her out, and then we're going to do the last step of the silicone where you seal her and then do the powder finish to matte her. And then she'll go away then for 4 hours. I will talk about that when I get to that step. And then, of course, the last of the last will be when I shine up just her eyes and her lips and all of that after the silicone part is done and I wash her under just water. But I'll put all of that on the screen here. So we're just going to draw in here. And we're going to dip into my tray here. I got a little palette here and a sponge, and we're just going to go on to the last arm. Like I said, I've already done her entire body with this, and I was going to end with the skin tone, but with her, it's more of blush tones with her, and I like it better the way I've been doing it. And even though that is a nail bed, again, you can do colors how you want to do, and I just absolutely love this nail bed color as a skin tone. It is really, really a beautiful skin tone. It's just perfect for her. It's just got those peaches to it, those peach colors, and I absolutely love that. Before I put her away, I am going to go through and just check with the tweezers to make sure she doesn't have anything on her again, any fuzzies, any little hairs, because again, it'll dry into her silicone. And the most important, obviously, is going to be when I seal her. Then I'm going to really want to make sure that I make sure that she has no hairs or anything, because that's your last seal coat, I just want to get under the little arm here. Make sure I got this. But I did do her whole body. And yeah, this is a great coloration for her. She's really looking good. When I looked at her from the very beginning to now, she was, like I said, more of a yellow tone and more very light, like almost too light, like almost the color of a silicone baby before they're painted. That's almost the color she was, and yet I thought she was so beautiful. I think what it was is all that mottling she has really does, a lot for her. That mottling was just gorgeous, so I don't think they did a lot of coloration over it. But as you notice, and I'll do in up close and personal when I do the video, she still has all her mottling. I did end up covering it up by doing this. I didn't cover up her veining, nothing. She still has that beautiful mottling all over the place, and I just absolutely adore this baby. She is so beautiful, and I'm glad that I was able to fix her peeling, but also give some more character to her myself. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and put her away to cure. But like I said, I've got the little tweezers here, so I'm just going to go over quick with the light. I put the light on it and on my phone, and I just make sure that I don't see any fuzzies, little hairs or anything. And then I'm going to put her away for 2 hours in the Tupperware with the cover on, but a little a little air vent. I can actually take a picture of that to show you guys what I'm talking about, because I know I'm talking about that throughout both videos. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, how I vent it. I'll just snap a photo of that and throw it in here. So, but yeah, I just wanted to open just a tad just to get a little air in there so it dries a little faster. When it's sealed off completely, they don't dry as fast. I noticed that because there's no air getting into it. But all right, let's get her put away, and then we can get on to the last step of sealing her. I'll be back. All right, everyone, we're on to one of the last to the end steps, which is going to be siliconing the baby and doing the matte finish. And then at the very end, after she's dry in 4 hours, I'm just going to wash her under warm water to get the top layer of powder off. And then I'm going to shine her eyes up, her nose up, her mouth, her fingertips, and her toes. So we've got some laid out here, and this silicone is the 110 and the Part A 50-50 mix. And I do have a mask on. Make sure you wear a mask because we're going to be working with that powder. So first we're going to do the silicone. And remember, again, this is a very, very thin coat that you want to put on. Very, very thin. Now, I've already siliconed the back, and I've already done the powder on it. So she's all done in the back, and then we're just going to lay her back into her container for 4 hours. It seems to work okay when you do this. When you do put them back into the container on both sides that are done when they have the powder on. So I was unable to do both sides. Able to do both sides or whatever. So I'm just doing both sides, or the other side now with her and sharing it with you guys. I thought I'd just get the back done first. That way when I'm done, I can just put her right into the bucket. But yeah, this is just a very thin layer of silicone that you want to do. And, you want to wipe a lot of it away. But I'm doing the thinnest coat on her. So I didn't wipe away when I did the powder finish on her because it seems like I'm not even barely getting any in here. I'm going to pour a little bit more out here. Because I did run out doing the back. And you want to put very little out because you don't want to waste it. So it's better to have less than, more, because you just throw it away. So let me get a little bit more out here. Sorry, we're getting to the end of this bottle here. Okay, about like that. Because that's about what I used on the back. And then we'll get the Part A to mix with it. Okay. Hopefully we didn't do too much, but I seem to every time. I'm always doing too much. And always have a little bit left over, but mix it really good, you guys. 50-50 parts. Now there's a little piece of chunk of silicone there. Gonna get that away there. I don't know if you've seen that. Make sure this gets mixed perfectly, the 50-50 parts. Mix it real good. And then I'm gonna take what's on this and just get it onto this brush here so I don't waste any of it. Because you don't want to waste any, right? And I do have a tweezers here to pick up anything that I'm going to find on her. Because, of course, we'll get little pieces here and there on her as we're putting this on before we put her away. All right, so now I'm going to dip in and start doing the silicone, like I said, all over on the front because I've already done the back. So now we're going to get the front done. And like I said, just do thin, thin, thin layers on her all the way around, just a thin layer. This is just to take the powder and to give her a nice finish, you know, just to seal her up. So that's basically what we're doing here is sealing her. So I already did the front of that. So I think I did the front of the hand already too. Yeah, already did. So we're going to be doing the back here of her hand and her arm. Oh, I see a little piece there. Let's get that off of there. Okay. And just like I said, just a thin, thin coat. I should have got most of her done before I even came on here. But that's okay. We'll get most of it done. Then I'll come back and show you the step where I do the silicone on her. I'm sorry. I'm doing the silicone right now. The part where I do the powder. So this is basically what I'm going to do is do a nice thin coat of this all on her whole front side, making sure I didn't miss anything. And if you find little pieces, like I said, make sure you wipe it off the baby because this is going to seal her now and it's going to leave, you know, things behind. If you don't got the little tweezers there with you, make sure you do to pick off anything so that you're not going to seal that into the baby. Don't want to do that, right? We want to be very careful not to seal this baby with anything in it. So sometimes it looks like there's a little piece there and it's not anything. It's just the little pieces of paint. You know, how it has the discolorations from going into the different sections of her fingers and stuff. But I'm just making sure, giving her a nice coat here over her fingertips and everything, which I will be doing at the end too, because she'll be getting that to shine it up. All right, so I'm going to finish her up and then I'll come back show you the powder. All right, we're ready to do the powder, and that is the matting powder. I have it laid out and I did break it up with the back of this brush. Now I have a bigger brush for her. I got this one from Walmart. So if you're just wondering, it is an LA color, but it's a nice big puff brush for her because she's bigger. So I'm using a bigger one for her. So we're just gonna get some on, and remember a little bit goes a long ways with this powder. So you see it's about how I have it on her, and we're just gonna go ahead and start matting her. Like I said, I had that chemical reaction the first time with Abel, but that was because the brush I used, I think it was really to do with the brush. I don't even think it had to do with the silicone itself or even the amount I had on, but I had a lot. So I think that was my problem, is I just had too much on and I just used a totally wrong brush. So I think that was my problem. I'm hoping that's what it was. Because it just seems like each time I do this now, it's turning out perfectly how you're supposed to have a matted baby. So yeah, I think I was just doing I think the worst step was just the thing I was using, the brush. It was just a really bad brush. So we'll just get all of this on her. Make sure she's getting a nice coat of this all over so it mats her. That's the most important, is no baby is shiny. So we don't want a shiny baby. They won't look real, right? I don't know a baby alive that's shiny. So, all right, let's kind of push some of this down because I want to kind of finally do this. And then we'll get her head now and her face and her ears and her neck around. I did do the back, but I want to go around good just with the neck. She looks so cute when she's matted. Oh my God, she just looks adorable. These babies really come together when they get that matte finish on them. So we're just going all over with her. Just making sure she gets that nice matte finish. You don't want to have any shiny spots. And if you do, you can always retouch it up at the end. If after she's dry and you notice she's got another shiny spot that you missed, well, that's what's nice about it is you can put a little bit more silicone and a little bit more of the powder. Just make sure you're wearing a mask though for this, okay? Because this powder goes everywhere and you don't want to be breathing this in. So, and whatever left over, I'm going to put back into the container to save that powder, because that powder is expensive and works great for, you know, matting up your baby again if you just want to give them a fresh coat of silicone and mat them up. This is, you know, an expensive part is the powder. Is very expensive, I know, but I'm going to be getting that silicone velvet for her. I don't know why some of these spots appear to come back shiny when I'm doing this. So I'm just going over making sure that she stays matted, because we don't want a shiny bubba. No, we don't want a shiny bubba. We want a nice matte finish baby. So I don't know if it's just not taking in this one spot or what. Well, it is. Okay, I just think I didn't have enough there. Okay. And I just don't want to wipe any off. So I'm just trying to get her all nice. And then, of course, here on her chest is a little more there. I don't know if the silicone just went on weird there or what, but hopefully it's okay, because this will be washed off at the end, so, which is nice. I see a spot I want to get off. Where are those tweezers? What did we do with the tweezers, little girl? Oh, you're there. I'm seeing a little spot right here I want off, a little hair, a little spot of hair there, a little spot there. Okay. I think we're pretty good. So I'm just going to look around for any other spots that she needs. And then we're going to put her in the bucket. I'll mark it right there on the front there. She's going to go in the bucket for 4 hours. And then we're going to rinse this top layer off. And then we're going to do the shininess to the shiny parts of her that need to be shiny. And she will be done. And I'll be able to show her off to you guys. So let me finish this up. All right, everyone. She is all dried up. She was in there for 4 hours with that matte finish, the silicone and matte finish. Now we're just going to give her a good rinse with just water, warm water. Well, I'm actually using hot water. So hot or warm water will work. We're just going to rinse her off. I actually can use this sprayer maybe to rinse her off, or I'll just use this. But this is just to get the top layer of the matte finish off of her. So, and she is such a big baby. It's hard to do this in here with her. But I'm just going to go around like I did with the bath and just make sure that I give her, you know, a really good rinse. Getting off all that silicone, you know. Or powder finish, I'm sorry. The powder finish on her. And she's going to feel a little tacky and sticky because she'll be wet, but she'll soften up. And then when I do the powder, you know, the baby powder on her until I get my good stuff. I want to get that good stuff I was telling you guys. That velvet, silicone velvet. When I get that, then that's what I'm going to be using on her. But this is good enough for now to use baby powder because that's what I use on Able. But yeah, I'm just going to rinse all this off, you guys, and then we'll go on to the next step.